Hey everyone, it's Desiree, and I am here with, I guess you could call it part 2 of the Tonic craft kit number 10. Now remember, this is actually called the alphabet kit, if I'm not mistaken, because of the die and the center portion. So for technically the second project, because the first one was in the first video, of course, I'm going to play around with these banners. Excuse me. Now, what's really nice with these banner dies is they're open-ended. So you can make them as long as you want. It just all depends on how you die cut them. For this project, I also dug into my stash and I pulled out one of the Nouveau glitter markers from the Amber Glow collection. And this is the gold. I used the die with all of the letters, and I made sure on white cardstock I wanted the word happy. So I made sure I had to die cut it twice because there's only one P. So with this white cardstock, I wanted to use the glitter marker to give it the color. And I thought this marker would be perfect with these papers because you have beautiful blues, and golds and coppers in this kit. Now, if you don't have the glitter marker, you can use a Spectrum Noir if you have those glitter markers. Maybe you have the colors of Spectrum Noir, a Wink of Stella, and you have that in colors. So, I mean, you have other options. I used to have the collection of those glitter markers, and the more and more I use them, the more and more I really enjoy them because they are water-based. So you can use those also to watercolor if you want. So with these banners, I used the large of the banner dies to cut out these strips, and I'm going to set these down on an angle. So it's going to be longer at the top and it's going to gradually continue to grow as I move up the card. As with any banner, if you've seen any of my previous videos, I like to curl the ends of a banner. I don't like to leave it flat. Sometimes I do, but very rarely. The tape runner that I'm using, I'm actually using this for the first time. I like to try new things, see what works, see what I have fun with. It's actually a Tonic Studios tape runner, and it's called the Funky Tape Runner, which I think is absolutely adorable. Okay, back to the card. Once I have those banners set, I'm going to trim them using my long shears. I will say with that tape runner, it's stickier than most. It's got a good grab to it. So I'm going to use my liquid adhesive, my Nouveau Deluxe, and I'm going to adhere my letters. And I'm going to position them right at the banner edge. So it's almost like they're coming out from the banner, so to speak. I don't know if that makes sense. But, so I'm just going to continue down so that happy is along each of these colors. And you can see it has dimension. And again, the only dimension that I do have is from me coiling up the banner edges. So this is really a nice flat card. So it should mail nicely. Usually I have a lot of dimension on mine. I'm going to set this panel down on my 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 top folding card base. And I did forget to say, for that base that I put all those banners on, I did use one of my frame dies out of my stash. So I'm going to play around with the two Nouveau drops. One's ripened pumpkin and the other one is English mustard. So I'm going to start with the ripened pumpkin and I'm just going to put 3 dots there. Wait till you see what happens here. And then I'm grabbing the English mustard and I'm just putting little dots off of each of those 3 dots. So it's almost like they're, I don't know, flying. Okay, here it comes. And there we go. Yeah, tipped right out of my hand. And yep, smashed the drops. Now here's the funny part. This is one of those happy accidents. I thought it was really cool looking. So I'm just going to go back in with some of the ripened pumpkin. I crack myself up sometimes. With just to give it a little bit more of a dome. But you can see it really does look like it was splattered on there now, which is what I was going for. So again, a happy accident. That's not throw out your card worthy. So what I'm going to do here is, instead of die cutting the frame, the alphabet frame, I embossed into the paper. And I used what I call the squishy pad from Sizzix. So, you know, you're putting that down onto your die, and your die won't cut through the paper, but it will emboss into it. And this die has a lot of detail. So I thought it was really cool. Something different. Again, that's what we want to do. We want to do things different. Now I'm taking the two frame, the inner and the outer, and I'm going to snap them into their place, because I also embossed those onto this piece of cardstock as well. So they're going to snap right back in, so that when I run it through my die cut, my die machine, now I have the frame with just the embossed of the details from the die. I hope that made sense. It's just very difficult for me to grab my Sizzix and show you and put it up on this table. I'm hoping that'll change once I get everything set, hopefully. I'm praying, fingers crossed. So that's what I did. I used a lot of foam squares because I could not find my double-sided tape. And I'm going to set this down on my 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 top folding card base. Now remember, this does extend a little bit, just slightly over that edge of 4 1/4, but it's okay. It's still within those guidelines. I'm going to use the happy birthday stamp. Happy birthday, in all different types of fonts. And I'm going to stamp this twice. Somewhat on top of each other, but not so much. There will be a line that goes through that, because you can see off to the left, I have some banners there. So I had this idea in my head, and this is one of those ideas where you think you're going left, but all of a sudden you're going to go right. And that's exactly what I did with this. So I'm grabbing, because I cut a bunch of these banners, and I just had them sitting around. Because I was doing all kinds of cards with them and accenting and so forth. So this is one of my spares, and I'm covering up that space in the stamp. I'm then going to grab the inside die, because I want that panel to go inside. Now remember, you need to make sure that you're putting the die the right way to what your stamp is saying. Yeah, I've done it upside down. That's why I'm mentioning this. So you want to make sure that when you inset this into this space, that of course your writing's going to be going the right way. Because remember, your letters are in a certain direction on that frame. So here I am. I'm going to be playing with these banners, and what my idea was to have these banners coming out along the edges of the inner circle or inner square. Something like that. So I was liking it. And then I started to maybe not like it. So I get this second piece in, because of course this is excuse me, that was a sneeze. I'm so sorry. Because I love the specialty papers, and I just wanted to put them in. Here's where I'm changing my mind, and this shows you just how strong the funky tape runner is. It's really got a good adhesion for a tape runner, because usually tape runners, they kind of take a while. At least for me. I don't know. I'm definitely a liquid glue person, but this tape runner is absolutely phenomenal. So if you're looking for one, and it's refillable, and it's not that expensive, I'll link it down below. So you can see I changed that because I had all of this blue. I wanted to pull in the other specialty. I'm still playing with these banners, but what I'm noticing here is if I put another banner on the other side, there go those fingers. This was a deep thought process. Let me tell you what. it would have just covered up everything. So again, I was going to the left, I went to the right. You know, change in midstream. You're always going to have an idea in your head of what you want to do, but it can change. And this card just proves that. I added 3 of the ripened pumpkin to that yellow stripe in the center, and that is our 3rd project. So for our 4th project, I had a little splatter to, it was a sample piece of what this product looked like, the Atlantis Burst, the shimmer powders. And I really liked the panel. So I grabbed one of my Spellbinder dies from my stash. I think it's called Deckled Edge. And I put that watercolor down onto the right-hand side. The sentiment I'm using I grabbed from my stash, and it says, "You make my heart bloom." Anybody get the pun there? Bloom? Watercolor? I thought it was funny. And I thought it was cute. So, as we go on, I'm going to use my Nouveau Fine Detail Copper. I enjoy their embossing powders. I've been playing around with them. I think they're really good. Especially, I am a fan of their black. To me, black embossing powder is very tough. But I do like the Nouveau's black, whether it's the fine detail or the regular. I'm going to use my heat gun to melt the embossing powder and to get that set. Once that's set, I'm going to pull out a banner die from my stash so that I can cut that out, because we all know I don't do straight lines too well, no matter what. And I'm going to go with the middle size there. And then I'm going to use my vintage photo around the outer edge. You knew the vintage photo was coming in. I love my vintage photo. So, and again, that tied in with the watercolor panel because I did it around that as well. So now I'm just playing, okay, how do I want this to sit? It's too wide for that. Okay, not quite sure, because I'm putting this directly onto my card panel, my card base, my 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 top folding. So it's a smaller panel that's going on there, but it's okay that that sentiment's going to expand over that. But I just need to be careful because, again, I'm directly working on my card base, which is sometimes rare. Well, usually rare. I'm taking the rest of the banner dies that I had, or banner pieces that I had cut, and these are the thinnest ones, the smallest ones, and I'm layering them. I saw this in another video. She's also part of the Tonic Studios network of kit crafters, and that's what she showed with these, that you could really layer these and be really creative with how they would look at different, different lengths, different distances away from each other. So I really wanted to incorporate that into this card. I'm going to find her video. I cannot remember her name, but I do know she's part of the kit crafters for Tonic Studio. And I'll make sure I'll link that video down below just so you can check it out. It was really neat with all the different things she came up with just using these banner dies. So I placed my one larger banner down, and then I popped up the watercolor panel with some foam squares because I still can't find my double-sided foam tape. And again, I'm now playing again with the sentiment and the position of it, where I want it to go. So I'm going to put my Nouveau liquid adhesive on it, and it's going to go on an angle. And what I did was I lined up one of the banner sides so that I could just cut along that there. Once I have that adhered down onto the watercolor panel, I'm just going to add some foam squares underneath the two edges just so that they don't get crushed down and flattened, basically. Once that's set, I'm going to trim off the side there. And I'm just going to add a little bit of vintage photo just to make that even. And now we are going to set the multiple layer banner. Using one of but the glue pen that came in the kit. It's the medium size Nouveau glue pen. that as well is extremely sticky. Let me tell you what, no sooner I got that down, it was there. I couldn't even lift it up a little bit. So that's awesome too. Sometimes when you deal with the liquid glues, you know, you've got time for movement. Not with that. There was not much time for movement. Here I'm struggling to trim the edge of this because I went crooked. And again, it was a lot of layers. Their cardstock is pretty thick. So you're talking, there's 5 of them that were stacked up together. So trying to cut them all at once was tough. So that was project number 4. So for the last project, I had that panel, the rest of that large piece of watercolor paper when I was showing you the Atlantis burst. So I don't like these to go to waste. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some tags. You guys know, if you've seen some previous videos, I love making tags. I could make tags all the time. So how do I do that if I just have a rectangle? I cut my one corner, I flip it over like I just did. I cut along that line. That makes it even. If you have too much of a point at the top like I did, I just trimmed straight across it, and that's your tag. That is how easy it is to make a tag. So if you don't have a die, you can still make a tag. Again, just cut your corner, flip it over as if you're folding it in half, and cut along that same line, and you will have an even top. I'm going to grab my hole puncher, and I'm going to punch a hole through all 3 at once. Makes it a lot easier. And you can see the shimmer in that shimmer powder. I'm a very big fan of the shimmer powders. I think they're fun. I'm going to play with those embossed dies, the made with love, handmade by. I think they're really pretty, and they emboss beautifully. Nice, deep, I mean, you can just see the letters there. I did put a piece of cardstock underneath to act like a shim, not the metal shim, a piece of cardstock, just to give it that extra oomph in pressure, but not much. I already pre-stamped 3 panels here with the stamps that came, and I'm cutting them 1 inch wide. I just grabbed some of my specialty papers. I really went through them this time because I was just having way too much fun. So these are some of the scraps. I'm very stingy with these because trust me, every piece is saved. I'm using my Nouveau adhesive, and I'm putting this down on this tag on an angle, and then I'm going to set the sentiments on that same angle. The strip of the specialty paper was cut at 1.5 inches wide. So it's going to give me 1/4 of an inch on each side of my sentiment. And I used both of them. I used the birthday and the celebration. I was paging through the tags to make sure that I did that, what I was about to say. So I'm turning the tag over once the front's done, and I'm adding one of those embossed, whether it's the oval or whether it's the rectangle banner thing. And then to each one, I'm adding one of those handmade with love stamps. Same thing. I'm going to grab another piece of specialty paper, except this time I'm going to go across horizontally. And here again, I'm putting on the last one. They were all put together the same. It's just the banners on the front were either set flat or on angles. Or I put these in different positions on the back as well. So here are all 3. Now, usually I make tags double layer. I like to have another layer just sitting in back of it so that I can just glue the tops together and then score down from the top a little bit so that you can prop it up if the recipient wanted to keep it and put it on a shelf or something. That's what I usually do with tags. But I just wanted to show you that, you know, look, here's another way to make a tag. Here's how you can embellish the back. And you'll be able to have room to write your sentiment or what you would like to say to the recipient of your gift. The twine that I'm using comes from Nouveau. It's their black and white twine. It's a very nice twine. It's a little thicker than the normal twine that we can get. but it works really well. So I just put some of that at the top. I tied a knot to the very top. And what I'm showing here is when it comes to that mirror cardstock, you can write on it. Yeah, I'm doing my scribble that I call my signature scribble, different ways, and it doesn't come off. So a Sharpie pen, by writing on that with that type of paper, it will not smear. So I thought that was kind of cool. So now I'll have to find somebody to give as gifts. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed the projects that I created using the Tonic Studios Craft Kit number 10. Now, this kit, of course, is no longer available. I have not seen it on the site. Now, remember, number 11 has already launched, and I believe that is still available at this time. It does have a holiday theme to it because for us stampers, Christmas does occur in July because we need to start getting ready for the holidays with all of the wonderful paper crafts that we're going to create. So it's beautiful. I'm a true fan of it. I cannot wait to get that. So I think you're going to see that really quick because I'm going to need to dig into that. But as I said, I hope you did enjoy these projects. I hope I inspired you to dig into your kit, or maybe you're just interested in starting to receive this now as well. All the links for Tonic Studios, both their Facebook and their online shops and the subscription pages, will be linked down below, both for the UK and, of course, the US. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so, and I mean my channel. If you want to subscribe to Tonic, you would not be disappointed. You can subscribe monthly and also quarterly. If you should have any questions or comments, please leave them down below, and I will make sure I get back to you as soon as I can. But I promise you, I will get back to you. I try to answer all the comments that come in. Let's see. I'm not sure if I had anything else. You guys know it. If I missed anything, you know what to do. But by all means, I hope everyone's having a great day. I hope everyone's enjoying it. But always remember, be creative.